Hello, welcome to the channel ALM for you. My name is Jagmohan Singh Chawla and I'm a product manager at SAP. Let's see what are the latest and greatest innovations in SAP Cloud ALM. So we have added a lot of enhancements and we'll be going through them one by one shortly. So stay tuned. All right. So as you might be aware that we can create roles, custom roles in the system, and as you can imagine when the team uses, then this can become really cluttered, and especially when you have the role list shared across multiple projects, then it will grow over a period of time. You can create teams, as you might be aware, and each team starts by a predefined definition of roles, and this can be, as I mentioned, quite huge and become overwhelming, especially if you want to have shorter teams focused on certain key personas. So let's say if there is a team of business experts, then you can go into the edit mode and you see these additional options to deactivate the roles. So that means you can really deactivate a role from a team. So nothing else happens. The role definition remains, and but other than that, your view is much cleaner. So you in the display mode, when I am done with this, then I'll see a much shorter version of my role list. You have to be careful that if you have assigned people to these roles, you should remove those assignments before deactivating the role, otherwise you will lose that data. Okay, then let's proceed to the next one. A dedicated view for accelerators. So if you are using Roadmap Viewer intensively, then this is one of the most seen views in Roadmap Viewer. And we got this feedback from our users that they really love SAP Cloud ALM, but they miss this view. And how do you get to this view? It's very simple. When you open the task list, by default, you will have your usual view, which you are familiar with. But if you basically click on this new tab, Accelerators, so then by clicking here, then you will be able to navigate very easily. And then the best part is you can filter. So your filter panel is not changed, and you can have very specific filters assigned to, as an example, certain task types or certain work streams or certain phases, and that will basically make this view, we hope, quite useful. Okay, then let's move on to the next innovation. Time boxes for requirements. So time boxes for requirements were available in list view for quite some time, but now we made them more easily accessible. So I'm in a requirement and I look in this additional information, and what I can see is basically a time box. So I can assign a time box to my requirement now, and that obviously is easy. Then I can manage my project by clustering time requirements around time boxes, and this is also very interesting if you use custom time boxes. So such as if you have modeled your custom time boxes in a special way and you want to bucket your requirements in that smaller time slice, now it is possible to do that very easily. Now let's move on to the next one, which is Workstream in Defects. So I'm in a defect screen, and what we have done is we have enabled a workstream attribute. So this is basically important as workstreams become powerful. That means now you can define custom workstreams via Excel upload, and then you can use them in your requirements and then also defects, and that way you can model workstreams as you want. So it can be your org structure, your plant structure, whatever way you work, but it gives you additional flexibility. And the best part is the analytics and reports have already been adjusted, so you can make use of this filter for defects in the reporting as well. Okay, then let's move on to tags in test cases. Okay, so now I'm into the test cases, and I have a test case which is open for me, and I can see that now. So if I go to the journal information, so I'm in the details of a test case, and you can see that now I have tags available here. So I can create a tag like in other applications such as requirement management or task management, but now it's extended to test management as well. And also not just in the creation of test case, but also in test case reporting, the tag search will be supported. And then let's move on to tags in documentation. So as you will be aware that we have notes, which are basically to capture your documentation needs that come at any time during the project, but mainly during the fit to standard workshops. So if I create a note, then I want to tag it as well, because now again, like custom work streams, tags are also another way to really mimic your working style, and it's community led. Then people definitely want to attribute tags to whatever way they are working, and you can now use the tagging in the notes as well, which was not possible earlier. Okay, then let's move on to a completely new application, release and timeline. Okay, so let's go slowly. So first of all, how do you find it? So it's a new tile, and even it's an analytic report. Why it is kept outside? Because this is the first cross project report in that sense, but it's mainly centered on the theme release and deployment management. So let's go there. And the idea is, if you have a release which is being used by multiple projects, then as a release manager, you are more focused on, is your release ready for deployment? What are the different features in a particular release, and what are the different stages of those features? And maybe not just features, but maybe contributing requirements, user stories, defects, whatever. So that's why this release and timeline app is released, and it makes it very easy for somebody to work if you have multiple parallel projects. And also a very important is this timeline view, and this timeline view gives you visual hints on how the timelines of different projects are stacked against the timeline which is coming from the release. For SAP S/4HANA Cloud, this is even more important, because the upgrade window for SAP S/4HANA Cloud is shown. So that way you can adjust key events or key dates in your project, and you can make sure that the users do not have any impact. Okay, then let's move on to the last topic, and that is retain release information when deployment plan is deactivated. Okay, so let's think of a relationship between a project and a deployment plan. So a deployment plan, once it is assigned to a project, gives the project its landscape and the release timelines. But think of that as rings on a tree. So a project may contribute to a deployment plan for a given period of time, but then deployment plan may be archived, closed, and new deployment plan may come, and that becomes the new reality, the new normal. So how does a project lead kind of find information which was historically relevant, which is the stuff that was captured in a deployment plan, but that deployment plan is no longer available in a project? So we have made that change, and now if I go into the requested release, then I see the release which is coming from the current deployment plan, but I also see the releases that came from the previous deployment plans where this project contributed to. Okay, that was not the last one. Actually, this is the last one. So this is the process flow diagram copy. One of the most awaited features is finally available. That means if SAP gives you a standard flow, a standard process, but you as a customer want to customize it, then you can open this solution process flow diagram, and you see this new option called copy diagram, and you can just click there, create a copy. You have to give a basic title and then add a description if you want, but after that this diagram is set into draft mode. So this is your own diagram, or you can say a variant of the flow that SAP has offered. You can then make changes into this diagram. You can add a new step, you can add a new flow, like the whole business changes that maybe you want to do, or you want to depict that this diagram should be enhanced by so and so controls. So you can do all these things, and after that you have to save it and publish it. and then make that available as a custom flow diagram. So that's it. Hope you enjoy this video, and feel free to share this video in your networks. If you also would like us to produce some special kind of videos as an example for more expert and advanced topics, then again, please leave a comment. Bye bye and have a great day.